Okay, hi everyone. So I'm just going to record a quick video on how to make a simple character mesh within Blender. It doesn't take very long to do, and once you've got it, you'll be able to customize the look and feel of it quite easily. Okay, and then once you've got it sorted out there, it's easy to take it into mixamo and to animate it, bring it back into Blender, and it'll be looking good, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm in Blender, I'm using a mouse, and I've got my middle mouse button that helps me rotate around the scene so I can see what's going on. Couple of things in the scene here. I've got a camera, I can click on that. I've got a light over here, and in the middle I've got this object, which is a cube, which is a mesh object. And we're going to edit that, basically. So I'm going to go into Tab, and I'm going to select this object. I'm going to select this top face, okay? So I've selected faces here. From up here on the top left, you can see where my cursor is. So face select, and I've selected this face. You can see you can select any face on an object with that, but we want the top one. I'm going to hit E for extrude, and I'm going to start moving this upwards. Now when I do that, I'm going to hold down Control on my Mac, and I'm going to go up 2 notches so it looks like a cube on top of a cube, okay? And I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to, I'm going to just slide this down a little bit using my middle mouse button and shift. Helps me to pan, or you can use the hand over here. Click on it and move around, okay? And this is a leg I'm making at the moment. So I'm going to go extrude, hold down Control again, up 2 notches, extrude, up 2 notches, and we're looking good. Okay, now I'm going to create where my pelvis is, so I'm going to hold down Control, and I'm going to come out 1 notch instead of 2. So I'm going to go E for extrude, hold down Control, and I'm just bringing it out once. Okay, so that's good. That's basically like this upside down hockey stick. That's a leg and going into a pelvis. So we're going to start to fine tune this a little bit more. I'm going to come across to the spanner here. I'm going to go add modifier. I'm going to come down to the mirror modifier, which is halfway down the generate second column there. And we can see that we can't see much is happening yet. So we've got different axes here. I'm going to click on the Y, click off the X. And when I go A for all, I'm going to grab my move. And you can see now that as I start to pull this apart, we've got 2 halves that mirror each other. Yours might be on the X-axis as well, which would be moving in the other direction. But at the moment, I'm using the Y. So you have either or. I'm going to turn on clipping, and then I'm going to push these back together, okay? And what's going to happen when I do that, you can see that as I pull my model away now, it stays stuck together. So clipping helps us out there. That's a good thing, okay? So what I'm going to do now is select this top one. I'm going to go E, hold down Option, hold down Control, come up a couple of notches, E for extrude, come up a couple of notches, E for extrude. So this is a pretty fast process, and this is making a torso. Extremely skinny torso, but it is a torso. Going to come up once more here. Okay, and I might come up once more. That should be starting to get our character sorted. And now I'm going to extrude an arm out. So I'm going to go E for extrude, hold down Control, same technique. You can see that one there, that's going to be a thumb, so I'm going to extrude up there like that. Okay, so that'll be the hands on the ends of our arms, and things are starting to come together. Okay, now what we want to do is start adding a little bit of curvature to this before we start to edit it. So I'm going to come across to the modifier. I'm going to come down to subdivision surface. Okay, so I'm adding this in. I'm going to roll this up to about 3, so it's a little bit smoother. Now, one of the things we need to do when we extrude it, it's also extruded faces inside the body here. So what I'm going to do is turn off this screen icon up here under mirror so that it hides the mirror for a moment. And I'm going to select these internal faces. And I'm just going to select them all, hit my X key, and I'm going to remove faces. Okay, so you can see now it's hollowed out the inside. Having that not hollow would cause some problems later on. And I'm going to remove that top one as well, which is the top of the neck. Remove faces. So now we're looking good, okay? Our mirror hasn't gone anywhere, we're just hiding it. So we'll bring that back again, and you can see now we're looking good, or sort of. It looks like quite a bizarre figure, but we're going to tune it up a bit more. So we're going to come down to the bottom, and let's extrude out a bit of a foot there. Now the foot's looking pretty fat, so let's select underneath it and push this up a little bit so the foot's not too huge. And then I'm going to go E for extrude, and I'm just going to bring it down just a little bit, not too much, and we'll give a harder break around that character there. And so let's start to bring the torso out now. So to do that, I'm going to select these faces. I'm in face select up here, using my move, which is over here on the left. And I'm just going to start to bring this out so that we've got a little bit more shape starting to happen with our torso. Okay, and we need to work with our edges as well. So this is our edge select mode. When I've got this selected, you can see how this selects all our edges. So I'm going to push this hip down a little bit. I'm going to grab above the hip here, and I'm going to bring this out a bit. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to probably pull this armpit out a bit, and this first, whoops, let's have a look here. I'm going to grab this first bit of arm and this armpit, and I'm going to drag both of those out so we get a little bit more shape here in the chest area. Let's drag this out. Okay, remember we're going for a kind of fairly much a cartoon kind of character here, so we're not really concerned about realism. Going to pull a couple of these out so we can sort of add some chest here. Pull it out a bit more. Okay, we'll pull out the back here a little bit. That's good. Better get some buttocks on there. Okay, we can. Oh, they're looking a bit bizarre. We'll pull this out a little bit as well. Okay, and the legs here. We can start to. We've got the knee in here, so we can push this in a little bit. Yep, we'll push this in a bit to the side. So we'll start to give the leg just a little bit of shape, nothing too much, and then we'll come underneath. We'll tighten this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we've got our character starting to come together. Oh, it's looking a bit weird in the back area there. We might just pull these out just a touch as well. Now we can add more geometry to this as we go along, but this will give you the basics of the character. And you can see we've got really fat hands here. So I'm just going to squash them up a little bit. Okay, so I'll push that in. Hands in there. Select the back of the hand and push that in as well. Okay, so we're starting to get something a little bit flatter in the hands and probably underneath the body. Underneath, oops, the arm could go up a bit as well. So let's do that now. Okay, so we've started to get a torso. It's looking a bit weirdly sculpted. We can tune it up more, but let's just, we won't worry too much for the moment. We'll just leave it as it is. And we'll just hit tab to go out to object mode. And now I'm just going to add a mesh. I'm going to add a UV sphere. Okay. And I'm going to grab Z. So I'll move it up, or I can move with my arrow handles. Move it up accurately, and let's give our character a really big head. Okay, so when in doubt with this sort of thing, go extra chunky. So that's good. And let's add a subdivision surface to this. Just a couple of layers. Okay, and we're looking good. We've got our character pretty much sorted. Now I might just scale the head just a little bit, front to back. Might go a little bit more. Okay, so there we have it. That's our character, just about ready to animate. So all I've got to do, once I'm happy, I go File, Exports, export a FBX. I'm just doing that now. I'm going to export it to the downloads. And that person's got a big head. I'll just call him Big Head Character. Oops, I just spelled that correct. And oops, I'll just make sure it's got the dot in there. Okay, so I'm going to export the FBX. That's cool. So what I'm going to do now is go to mixamo, and you can see that if you're I'll just go back here. I've got the link to Mixamo here, or it's just mixamo.com. Okay, so let's head over to there and we'll upload a file. So I'm logged in, that's cool. So what I'm going to do is click on upload a character, select the character. So I'll just do that now. Here's my big head character. I'm going to open them. And so now Mixamo is going to upload my character, and it's going to get ready to rig it up in the cloud, which is fantastic. So we're not relying on the speed of our, that's good, of our laptop. So we're going to go rotate on the Z axis. That's good. Rotate on Y axis. So just make sure that you get your character, I think that's looking from the back. Okay, so get your character lined up so they're looking, square to the camera in what we call a T-pose. That's good. So we're going to go next. And I'm going to add in, our character really hasn't got much of a chin, but that will do. Wrists, we're going to pop them in there. Elbows, we've got short arms, so we're going to pop them in there. Knees go about where the knees would be. And the groin goes about in here. Okay, so that's cool. We've got info over on the side if you need it. And now it's going to upload our character. Bell's gone, and then we'll be able to apply our animation to it, okay?